We there? All right.
Yes.
This is a recipe I came across about 10 or 12 years ago. I was still teaching, and someone the other day told me I took it to the school for the teachers on a Wednesday, and the superintendent came up. He said, "I have never heard of this." And his secretary says, "It's going to look weird, but you try it. I promise you it's good." And I never thought about it. And I guess it does kind of look a little odd. But the recipe actually starts off with all the ingredients and it with the cooked chicken breast. And so I didn't put down how to cook the chicken breast. If somebody needs that, I can send it to them or whatever. You can buy the pre-cooked chicken. You can buy the frozen ones and cook them however you do. I just take mine and put it on aluminum foil in a pan so I don't have to clean it, and season them with whatever your favorite seasoning. And I usually cook them 30, 35 minutes. And then I cut them into bite-sized pieces, so forth. And this is just the list of the ingredients that you start off with. And that's the aluminum pan I use. You can add more onions. There's a lot of things that you can do and add more to and so forth. And this is where I did take a picture of this. I just seasoned these and popped them in. I use a steak seasoning from San Angelo area. And so I don't add salt or pepper to my recipe at all because this usually takes care of everything that I need. But once your chicken's done, you cut it into bite-sized pieces. And I set them aside and I heat me a Dutch oven pan and saute my onions for about 7 minutes. Then I throw in my garlic. You can do fresh garlic. I use the one from the bottle where it's already minced and so forth. You just want to make sure none of it burns. You want your onion to be translucent and don't burn that garlic. And then you add your chicken, your spices, your tomatoes, and your broth. I usually keep out a cup of broth. I think it has too much when it gets all said and done, unless I'm adding in extra stuff. And I'll talk about that in a minute. Anyway, you bring all this mixture to a boil. Once it gets there, you turn it down and allow it to simmer. I'm not trying to think what I simmer for because I can't see mine over here on this side.
15 minutes.
20 minutes. And then I open up all my cans of beans. We use Great Northern white beans. And again, I have a lot of people that go, "What? That's not a normal Texas thing." But they are white bean. They are good. They're to me, they're kind of like a pinto bean, a little softer, milder bean. And I drain off the top edge. I don't drain off all the liquid, but there's usually a good ½ inch of liquid, and I pour that off. And I pour that in, and you just bring it back up to a boil and simmer maybe for a little bit more. If you're ready to serve it at that time, then you pour in the whipping cream, and that kind of gives it that white thing, along with your white beans and your white chili, your chicken, your beans, and so forth. It gives it that white appearance for chili. And cup and a half, I think is what the instructions are, but kind of jump my gun. There's your onions. You add in your chicken. You add in your spices and so forth. And this is where you bring this up to a boil before you bring the beans in. After you get up there, you bring those beans in and put them in. And if you're going to serve it right then, that's when you add that heavy whipping cream. If you're going to wait and serve it the next day, and I highly recommend making this a day or two before, pull it aside, don't put the whipping cream, you bring it back up to heat, and then you add that heavy cream in, let it cook about 5 more minutes, and then you serve it. But sitting overnight in the refrigerator, it just has a chance to blend all those flavors together, and it's really, really much better the day after. To serve it, we kind of set up a big ball. The more big bar with stuff, the more people that they're coming, then we just add more stuff there. Tortilla chips, salsa, sour cream, cheese, cilantro, green onions, And I cut up lime wedges, and you squeeze lime juice on top of it, and it just really changes the flavor. People are going, what are the limes for? It just really freshens it up, and it's really good with it. This recipe will easily, and usually I'll dump this into a crock pot if I'm going to do it the next day and pull it out. And it's real easy to do and warm up. It'll easily serve 10. If it's thick at that time, you may want to add in that extra cup of broth. But usually when you pull in that extra, you pour in that heavy whipping cream, you don't need that extra cup of broth. Or if you have leftovers, it will thicken up a day or two later, and you may want it at that point in time. Here's just, some of the toppings that day. I just had cheese, I had cilantro, your favorite salsa or pico or both, sour cream. You could add, other things you could add is the sliced or diced jalapenos. Typically we use tortilla chips. You could use those spicy crackers that Kathleen had the recipe for. I've seen people do that. Some people would rather have cornbread. Just for us, we go with the other. This is real easy, and there is enough broth in there. You could add another piece or two of chicken if you want it more meaty, or you can add some more beans to help it go a little further. It would eat, I did this for, I was trying to think, about 60 people, and I think I did 4 recipes. So
Wow.
just adding extra chicken and so forth. But anyway, that's white chili. Oh, there's a bowl of it. You can see it. If it doesn't have all the topping stuff on there, it does not look it looks kind of funky. But it really isn't. If you don't like cilantro, you just leave it off. But I think it makes it.
It looks really pretty.
Anyway, and that's it.
Wow. Well, we're going to be trying that one at our house for sure.
This recipe really would be easy to cut in half if you didn't want that much.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Well, you know what?
Oh, no,
If anybody...
I want the full recipe.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, you know, it's kind of like if you build it, they will come. If you cook it, they will come.
Yes.
So...
Yes. It's one that sometimes we have soup night at church once a year, and somebody always says, will you bring your chili? So this is what we bring.
Oh, how nice.
Big roaster of it.